Brave news, everybody. I regret to inform you that we have lost a game. The silver lining? It's only one. Until today, of course, because I've brought you back for a tough game, and whenever you come back for a live episode, the chances of you winning it when you're on a good run are absolutely minuscule. It's one of the things you just do not do, a little bit like saving the game late at night. When you're on an unbelievable run, you know when you come back the next day, you're going to lose the very first game after you fire up your machine, and it will surely be the same for this match. But since we saw you last when we were beating Goritza 3-0 in the league, we then won our very next game against Telia, meaning that we'd still not conceded a goal until our next game when we went to Copa. A trip to the defending champions is never easy, but conceding our first goal of the season was enough as we went down 1-0. And despite going ahead in our next game, I did fear that we might have a poor run, as we faced a tricky Tabor Shazana side who equalised in the 83rd minute. But we scored a penalty in the 95th. And that started another good run of form. We were a little bit fortuitous against Olympia as we won 2-0. But we did score with our only 2 efforts on target. But in the next game, we got the performance to go alongside the victories. We won 3-1 at Mura. We followed that up with a 1-0 win in the Cup before we took on Maribor, and we drew 2-2 with them. We scored twice again in our next game as we took on Copa again and won 2-1. Before a derby with Domjala in our most recent match, and all of the goals came in the first half as we ran out 2-1 winners once more. But I wouldn't say we're at our most fluent. We've been a little lucky in some of these wins, and we have been out XG'd in some of them, and in our last 3 games we've conceded in each of them. So the tight defence from earlier of the season is now starting to be breached. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We are doing very well, and we're even top of the table, and we've got a little bit of a lead as well. 7 points clear of Bravo, although both them and Telia do have a game in hand. If Bravo were to win theirs, that would cut the lead to 4 points, and they are going to be our opponents today. And if they beat us, well, that would cut the lead to just 1. So who's been playing well for us in this good run? Well, the answer is a few of our players. Alan Schiefer, well, maybe he's been a little bit more suspect. We actually dropped him for the last game, and Giga Firmashek came back in, and he wasn't very good at all. So Alan comes back into the team for today, but we have had some good performances. Kaucic is doing incredibly well. In fact, he's actually the league's leading average rating at the moment with a 7.44. But yet again, he's making noises about wanting to leave the club. He's desperate for showdown talks, but so far we've decided it best just to ignore him because there's no reasoning with players in FM23. Whatever you say to them, they're going to get upset. So I may as well just get him upset by ignoring him, I think, and save myself the tense conversation. The other players that have been playing well, Dirty Dennis is having another good season. He's the top scorer in the top flight, 3 goals clear of a player from Domjala, so he's doing fairly well. But I think the one that deserves a little bit of credit is Igor Zavru. I know, Zavru, as it turns out, or Zavru. Can't quite remember what I was taught. His training is a little bit up and down, and his average rating is only 6.82. Granted, okay, not the strongest, but he's still recently turned 17. He has got seasons of development in front of him, and he's actually playing better at the tender age of 17 than Kaucic was when he was younger. So I think Eagle's doing pretty well, and look at him, he's made 12 starts for us this season in the league. He's actually become one of our first choice players, and look at the relationship he's built up with the other players in that midfield quartet. We've also got these nice green linking lines with Krishnic and Ivacic, so we are looking pretty good in terms of our lineup. And for the first time, I think, since Dobfather started, we've got some strength on the bench. I know Firmashek is not everybody in the comment section's cup of tea, but certainly a reasonable backup goalie, I would say, considering what we've been through with goalkeepers in this save. I think we've got a decent backup centre-half now in Miran Filipovic. He's averaging a 6.92 this season. Not too shabby for an 18-year-old. We've also got Damian Besiak. Again, never plays well for me, but he's broken into the Slovenian under-21 side somehow. So we must have something about him. And we've got some borderline veterans on the bench now. Simon Gregorin is 27 years old, and I have absolutely no qualms about bringing him in, either as the inside forward or as the advanced forward up front. We've got Luka Gajic on the bench, positively a veteran at the age of 31. And when we switch to our backup formation, then we can bring in Gajic and he can play over on the right-hand side as the inside forward. And then we've also got another player who I think is doing okay. I was not a big fan of his unambitious personality. Certain commenters were yelling at me, it's not as bad as you think, give him a chance. They might be right, you know. Vodipivic might be the first unambitious personality that I've ever had any success in helping to develop. He's got himself a goal this season, although it was a penalty, and 2 assists as well. He started 2 games. He's come off the bench in 8. He's averaging a 6.84. I don't think he's done too bad, and he's only 17 years old as well. So maybe we've got a couple of youngsters that might just serve the club well over the next couple of seasons. However, we've got pressing issues to attend to. It's all about the here and now for us, as we would love to cement our place at the top of the table with victory today over Bravo. We will be the home side today at our new stadium, but our opponents travel from the capital, Ljubljana. Bravo have been steadily improving over recent seasons and last place qualified for Europe. And this season they have dreams of going one better as they currently sit second in the table. They're managed by wily campaigner Adnan Zilzovic. And they have a new gen key player who really is hot property and would be the greatest player we would have ever had come through our youth academy if he belonged to us. But we'll be hoping to silence him and his teammates this afternoon as Dob take on Bravo. Okay, let's not expect miracles today. Theoretically, this is the second best team in the division and we've not looked great over the last few games, even though we've been picking up wins. We have just gone a little bit stale, I think, so we could do with a good performance today. We could do with Valencic picking it up a little. The top scorer in the division, his average rating isn't actually that high. It's only just over a 7. And when you have that many goals in your back catalogue, well, you can see that it's propping up some performances that might not be the best. Ivacic has been fairly good, but Valencic, well, we'd like a little bit more from, as he has a shot from all of, 25, maybe even 30 yards, and it's cannoned back off the crossbar. We are unlucky that we haven't taken an early lead, but today could be moving day at the top of the league. If we could pick up a victory, what a gap we would have at the summit of the table. But defeat and Bravo winning that game in hand, and it is all going to Concertina once more as Kautic drifts into the area, fires an effort at goal. He's now going to go out and take the set play, and we're going to be looking for either Mitrovic at the near post or possibly Valencic at the far. It's dropped to their player on the edge of the box. Puchko mopped up the danger, and we've had now 2 shots, one of them on target, 3 shots now, but Bravo have got slightly the better XG, and both of their efforts so far have troubled our keeper. It's another slightly flat first half from us. I'm not against that, to be honest, against Bravo. And at least the highlights so far have gone in our favour, even if the scores are level. But Bravo now have the ball in the midfield third, and they are looking to come forward. We are doing a little bit of pressing on them. We've got the men in the midfield to try and win the ball back. We've not done it on that occasion. In fact, our ponderous back line very nearly get themselves into trouble. But Tifa, who is now a sweeper keeper, I should say, well, he did manage to get out and get onto that ball. So maybe the sweeper keeper, easy for you to say, is a better option for him because he saved us on that occasion. And now it could lead to a chance because Dirty Den is in. And he's hit the bar again. He's tried to lob one over the goalkeeper from outside of the box. And he's been thwarted by the woodwork for the second time in the game. As our opponents go close as well, an indirect free kick, a little flicked header. It's gone just over the bar. Neither side are looking great on the XG. It's a game where the chances don't seem to have been that good. And we might need to just instill a little bit more belief into our players ahead of the second period. So I did say during the first half that Denis Valencic has not been sparkling, and he's had another fairly average first half display there. He's on a 6.5. He's hit the woodwork twice, I realise, but they were both efforts from distance. He's not been the presence inside the penalty box that we normally expect of him over the last maybe 4 games or so. Maybe he can get back to his dazzling best in this second half here. We've still only troubled the goalkeeper once. That's not troubling him either, but it is going to lead to a set play. And Kautic is going to be on the corners once more. What's he going to do with this one? We are not the tallest of sides, although Mitrovic does get up. It's a near post header. He thumps it down into the ground, and it goes wide of the post as we race towards the half-an-hour mark. A good time, I think, to assess, maybe make some changes. A couple of little changes made by us. Filipovic has come on for Zidane at right back. Remember, he's the player with poor technique, but Zidane has been out injured and is struggling for fitness and was playing a 6.4 as well. So we're going to give the youngster a bit of game time. And the man on the ball now, Simon Gregorin, has come on over on the left wing. He's played a ball to Denis Valencic, who looks like he's had his heels clipped, and the referee is considering awarding a penalty. Who will be taking it? It's normally Kasnic, but I've no idea how good any of these players are at penalty without being able to see their attributes. So I just leave it to the players to sort out. It is indeed Kasnic, and that is a horrible penalty. It's wretched. It's about 12 different kinds of poor as he passes it back to the goalkeeper, and we've spurned a golden chance to go into a 1-goal lead. We do now have a corner. We've slung it towards the penalty spot, and it's actually led to a counter-attack for our opponents. We think about going and engaging the man on the ball, but well, we don't. We just let him make his way into the area instead. And we rely on Allen to pluck that one out of the sky and save us. That penalty miss was costly. And we're not doing very much in this game at all. And it's also led to a 6.1 rating for Kasnic. Let's get him off for the unambitious youngster. And maybe let's even change our approach to the game. Dirty Denis Valencic is not having a great afternoon. Gregorin could go up front for us, and we can bring Gajic on to play on the right. And we're going to let Tigla be the player that races into the box. Vodapivic is going to be the player that plays at the Mazzala on support, looking to get into those little outside forward positions to see whether he can drift some delivery into the box. We're also going to demand more of the players, but I think we'll let this highlight just come to fruition before we see whether that is indeed the right shout to put out. Bravo have got the ball on their own back line. They're probing. They've got space down the wings. We've won it back, given it away. And we were very nearly punished, and demand more is indeed the shout. Straight away, that has led to our goal kick being played to Pushko. Now out to Krisnic, who gave the ball away in that last highlight. And we've got it in midfield, and we're going. Here is Gajic. We've switched our formation now, so we've given Bravo something to think about. Rather than us having that free roving player out on the left, he's now on the right, so their left back's going to have far more to think about, but not if we play balls forward like that to absolutely nobody. We've managed to win the header, and Gregorin's got the ball, and here's Tigla linking up with Gajic. This is what we wanted to see. We've confused the opponents. We've bamboozled them, and Tigla now the central midfielder on attack. Rather than the Mazzala on support, he's ghosted into the box. And he has rifled one past the keeper. And how important a goal could that be? Gajic tees him up. He struck it firm. He struck it true. And on the 80-minute mark, we're looking at going top of the league and many points clear. But not if Bravo have anything to say about it, because they will want to get this goal back as soon as possible. And that is a teasing little effort that's come off one of our defenders, has dribbled wide of the post. And now we've got a set piece to try and defend. They've sent it to the near post. There is the youngster. He gets up and nods it clear. And we've got 8 minutes plus stoppage time to try and see out. As we get closer to the final whistle, we will make a couple of tactical little changes. But before we get that far, Kaučić is on a free kick. We've hit the bar for the third time today and had one cleared off the line as well as we move towards the 89th minute. Let's have a little look at what we can do in our tactics. We're going to put time wasting on. We're going to bring the tempo down. Maybe that will just help us keep hold of the ball a little. We've got a time-wasting substitution we can make as well, I think. And we're going to make it now. We've got, a 6.6 in that midfield. Let's take him off for Kotnic. But we're going to have to make a little change to our personnel there. We'll move Tigla inside. And we've got a minute, just a minute. And it will have been a hard-fought 1-0 victory. 10 seconds to go. We play a long ball into the box. We are doing the attacking. And the referee has blown the full-time whistle. And I can't wait to have a look at that table because I think it's going to make pleasing reading. Okay, nobody get excited, but the gap at the top of the table is 10. The two teams below us do have a game in hand, but we are looking good. But there is still so much football to play. We are not even halfway through this 36-game season, and we have one of our biggest problems coming up soon. The January transfer window is going to be open, and that always means bids for our starlets, and many of them would like to leave.